Okay, hello and welcome back to another game from M2on2. My name is Marcus and I was joined by Jade for a game of Malifaux. We are in the third edition of the game and it's M3e GG3, that's Gaining Grounds 3. The schemes and strats were guard the stash on a standard deployment with hidden martyrs, catch and release, in your face, break through and leave your mark. I was with the guild and I had Tull 1, the artillerist. He had his two cannons, Louisa, the King's Wall, Judd and Honey, Dr. Watson with a lead-line coat, and two hex bows. Jade was running Outcasts, and she had Lady Legia, Montressa, a dead outlaw, a hanged with Servant of the Dark Powers, a crooked man, a Catalan brawler, and a drowned. So guard the stash on a standard deployment. So this is my second time using Tull. We'd already played one game, which you might have seen already on the channel, which was with Tull 2. So we were trying out the Tull 1 experience. The first thing I'm going to say on this is it ended up being a little salty and slightly it's nice that we don't have the sound on for this one because there was a lot of sarcasm as the play went on because the crew a crew of ghosts were moving towards a gun line of attackers who could ignore concealment and incorporeal. So most of this game was spent with, well, the first half of this game was me moving forwards and focusing, and then Jade also was doing the same. I personally would have gone for probably a bum rush and tried to just get my entire crew into Tull's face turn. So turn one, so you're at least as far forward as possible, so there was the chance of holding me back as long as you can. The issue was the little cannons have the ability to pick up cards, and then you're just removing cards, and then you're just throwing cards out for attacks. The attacks do blasts, and blasts hit other models, and there's quite a lot of defense 4 there's quite a lot of defense 4 models in that crew as well, so you can blast off the defense 4 models into other models. What else are we saying here? The hex bows are absolutely broken. So they've got a thing called run and gun, which means that they can charge. So they can charge and then shoot from that attack. And they can also, this crew has, the whole crew has an ability on the front of their card, which allows them to have a heat of battle, which is a scheme marker close within 2 inches of them. You can discard a card to take an additional action. So most models actually feel like they have free AP. As long as you've got scheme markers around you, and the King's Wall also is treated as a scheme marker for that purpose. You can also do it with the explosion templates which go out, so Tull puts out explosion templates, and these at the end of the turn will explode. You get 1 on turn 1 and then 2 on turn 2, etc. And so they can control where the position of enemy models are, or how models keep hold of their hand. And so a lot of the so you're having to work around those as well while you're going. So Jade is moving up her crew, and eventually we get to a position where the drowned is a little bit too far forwards, and so all of the two hex bows just decide to murder it between them, because the hex bows are broken in the fact that they also have an ability on their card which is on a mask, which allows another friendly model with the same keywords to fire as well, and that doesn't have a non-master attached to it. So Tull could also attack, but also not only Tull but the other hex bow. So I had one hex bow in position and the other hex bow gets in position, and they both are able to fire, and even if they're not hitting, they do burning as well, which is just rude. So my first turn was spent getting out of that field and getting a position, and eventually Jade comes in with a Servant of the Dark Power hanged, which I didn't realize hadn't moved yet. So this gets into my backfield turn 1, and this causes me some problems. Judd and Honey don't last very long in this game after the nasty things they did in the last game. So yeah, so we're going through the, it looks like we're still in, no, looks like we're done in turn 1 and we've done our movement. So we are going into turn 2. Louisa has pulled forward to be able to hold positions. I think, yeah. And yeah, Louisa's has taken herself out into the open, and she is wanting to hit whatever's moved out there. I think what it is exactly. Looked like. Yeah, I can't tell you what that is. I'm sorry. I think it's probably the Catalan Brawler, if I'm honest. But I get the punch, and this allows me to hold. Control that position, and we have Lady Legia coming in to cause me lots of trouble, but the Hexbos again can just shoot her off the pitch because they ignore Incorporeal, which really does help the situation. Yeah, I mean, this game, yeah, I mean, Tull, I suppose I'll talk about Tull. Tull seems quite powerful. The crew synergizes really well with each other. So they have their keyword seems to work really well together. And Tull 1 got errated. But I think one of the great things on Tull 1 isn't the cannon itself, it's that the ability to make people back away. So it's like a push a model up to 6 inches away, so you can get people away from positions on the board for a 10-inch range. So Tull himself isn't actually having to shoot to kill things, which is really useful. He's instead can just shoot and go, you leave this area right now, which is really useful on the pitch. Jackdaw's gone into Louisa by the looks of it, and is punching either side. Jay gets me down to like 2 wounds or something, but I'm able to survive that attack with Soulstone. I'm using up my Soulstones. This crew only had 2 Soulstones, so I don't have those Soulstones very long for this game. I think I even used 1 on the first turn for a move something with Louisa, so I don't think I've got any left by the end of the first activation. The Red Joker saves me as the Castellan Brawler goes in, and Red Joker stops that hit from hitting, and then the second hit doesn't do hits and gets the trigger for the somebody else to shoot into combat as well, but that attack misses. As my deck's not flipping anything less than a 15. That's another thing I'll say about the Tull crew. You can deal yourself like moderate or low cards, and it won't feel as bad because you're discarding them for extra actions instead. So your deck is instead hot, and then if you can hold your cannons back till the end of the turn, you can pull those low cards out of your deck again, and then remove them from your deck for the next turn, because they're no longer on the board for the purpose of the attack. So you've discarded at least 2 to 3 low to moderate cards, and Judd and Honey has the ability to do it in an extra time, which I got off once during this game, which I was really pleased about. So when they put a blast marker down, if the blast marker hits a scheme marker, a heat of battle marker, or another kind of marker, a tide marker, because they're also gremlins, then you can draw a card up to an 8, which is quite nice as well. So an 8 is quite a useful card, and it's you can pick the suit as well, which is what really helps, because it means you can find the cards you need in the deck. Although one of Tull's 0 action, which is to put out extra bomb markers, that failed both. But every time I tried to use it during the course of the game. Let's just see where we're up to. So we're in turn 2 by the looks of it, and it's become a bit of a murder ball, because I need to weaken out the ranks of Jade's crew to be able to hold it back long enough. Watson is just an absolute murderer, ignoring armor, hard to wound, hard to kill, and Catalan Brawl, and so all of the things which are holding the Catalan Brawler on the pitch, armor and hard to kill, are just lost. So instead, I'm able just to Doctor's Tools and kill him during the game, which is quite a strong moment. Jade's using a dead outlaw in his crew to put out covetous cravings. I had a talk to Jade about this after the game, and really you want 2 models putting out scheme markers. It's like you're using up your AP turn 1 to turn it into AP turn 2, or using up a poor man's AP turn 1 to turn it into AP turn 2 for like more models, which is because you want 2 models really fast turn 2 start rather than use it during that first turn, for me anyway. Also, Montresor has Curse to Watch, so you could actually get 3 models fast, I suppose, if you had the cards and the ability to put the markers in the right positions, I suppose, which would be quite impressive. I'm not sure if Curse to Watch is once per turn. I'll have to check that, because fast is a really useful ability, especially in this kind of crew, because a fast hanged would have been really bad for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. We're almost, like, by the looks of it, by deck card at the end of turn 2, and I'm able to bum rush the marker on the camera side in the center with enough models to be able to hold that marker in place. So that allows me to control the middle of the pitch. So I mean that we both get 1 point for guard the stash for the turn. Louisa is killed by the end of that turn, probably by the dead outlaw, which is fine. But yeah, no, so I think Tull especially has the ability to be where he wants to be on the pitch. He does have, even though he's got that big gun, and especially against a incorporeal crew, so all those extra damage points aren't working, so that bit of your crew doesn't work. But the rest of the abilities in the crew is what you're paying for, and when you're doing severe damage, when you just flip a top card off your deck and it ends up being a severe, it just removes models. So yeah, so Tull takes himself a walk and to get himself in position, and then why I dropped a ski marker there is I dropped a ski marker there because I needed the King's Wall to be able to then take what I thought needed an extra walk, but he didn't, because I already had enough movement to get him into position to have 2 models holding the second turn. So yeah, at that point, at the end of the turn, we have 1 point each for guard the stash going into round 3. This game will end at the end of round 3 because at that point Jade believes she had got herself a point for in your face, as she had killed Judd and Honey while Tull was still standing near Judd and Honey, which would have been a really good kill if it had worked, but Judd and Honey is only 6 points. I really rate Judd and Honey, especially in a Vendetta pool, because 6-point models being able to be shot from 18 inches away is really useful, especially if you don't need line of sight. So Judd and Honey is gonna luckily can only be played into gremlins or a cavalier crew, because otherwise you'd put that into most guild crews just to be able to score yourself at least 1 for Vendetta, and then hold it and then hold it back for the rest of the crew. So yeah, at this point it's just murderable, and we're going into the next turn, and we're about to go into the next turn. And unfortunately at this point Jade, because she's mucked up the in your face ability, she does not. She just goes in for the kills, and her hand is appalling. It's got 1/11, and the rest is less than a 4, or a 4 is the highest card in her hand. So nothing she's trying to do works for her for the rest of the turn. In the end, I and in the end I am moving. I'm just trying to push things away and hold things in place, so I'm able to just hold. And Jackdaw is down to like 2 or 3 wounds because I've been blasting onto him with Ignores Incorporeal Hexbows. So because I'm shooting onto the Castellan Brawler, which has a lower defense, and it's min damage 1, and 1 damage is enough to keep hitting anyone. Eventually they'll fall over, especially when you can get up to 4 shots a turn from Hexbows. And I'm pulling out cards with the of my deck from the cannons, and the cannons are moving the upgrades around and just hitting things which are standing near other models and causing 1 damage hits to things which are just dying around the board, unfortunately. Eventually we get to the end of the turn where Tull is able to make Montresor back off 6 inches. This allows me to hold the second of the markers, and while dropping a ski marker in the middle of the board, and allowing me to score Leave Your Mark. We then talk through the rest of the game as, it's not been the best game for Jade. Jade's not had a very, very good second or third turn hand, and we instead talk it through. I would get 1 point for breakthrough eventually, and I would be able to place the other markers for Leave Your Mark, as Jade explains that the calibration on the Big Bertha crew would work as well. So we end the game there with 2 points for Guard the Stash, 1 point for Leave Your Mark, and Jade gets just 1 point for Guard the Stash. I hope you enjoyed the game. I don't think I'll play Tull very much more, or at least not into Jade. The gunline thing works, but it's not that fun to play on a Tuesday night or one Monday night of foe. You want to be playing something that both players want to interact with, and when it's just Tull blowing you up off the top of the pitch, what's the point? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the game, and see you on the next game. Bye bye.